Welcome to a brand new episode of the Clear to Send podcast. This is Francois. I'm here this morning with Roel. Hey, Roel, how are you?
Hey, good morning. Good to be here.
Thank you for being with me. And today we're continuing our series called Wi-Fi Hardware and Devices. And this is the final episode where we talk about, the Wi-Fi tools that you should keep in your bag. So both Roel and I will kind of share like the essential tools that you should bring with you as a Wi-Fi engineer, and then we'll share, a couple of general items that we keep in our bag, just to make sure we come prepared and ready if we need to do some Wi-Fi work.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of these tools, some of them are nice to have, while others we would highly recommend you have it. And so, depending on your, I guess, experience and your scenario and even your budget, it'll be useful either way. But whatever works for your workflow.
Exactly, and yeah, it's good you mentioned budgets because not all of these tools are free. Uh, but we try to provide like a couple of few options so you can kind of see what works with your budget and for what you're trying to do. Um, Also, keep in mind that both Roel and I we do that for a living. So we we might share more of the professional and type of tools. That's just because that's the one that we use for work, pretty much.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And I will say some of this stuff my employer has either purchased, some of the stuff I have purchased myself, or some of the stuff is something that a vendor has given me just to test out. And I don't know if that's the same for you, Francois. I know you work for yourself, so you probably purchased all the equipment yourself.
mhm.
But again, it just depends on your budget, your experience, and what tool is going to be best for your whatever you're doing.
So the first set of tools that we think you should have in your bag is a Wi-Fi scanner. So it's a tool that will help you to kind of detect which Wi-Fi networks are available around you, and you'll be able to discover, how many APs are available, which channels they're on, what type of Wi-Fi they support, the security that they support, channel width, supported data rates, things like this, and you can kind of use these tools to scan the environment you're in, to study what is around you. Um, so this is very useful, especially when you do analysis of an existing Wi-Fi network and you want to understand, okay, how is it configured, what is available. You can get a lot of information just by doing some Wi-Fi scanning.
Yeah, and the Wi-Fi scanning is probably the first thing a lot of us do. It's also the easiest because you can just take out your laptop and open up the application and be able to do that scan pretty quickly.
And you can do this with a couple of applications. The first one we listed, and you can see all of the list, by the way, on the Clear2Send website. If you go to clear2send.net and the show notes for this episode, you'll see all of the links that we've included for this episode. But the first one we listed is Wi-Fi Explorer Pro. Now, this tool has been built for iOS historically, so it's been supporting on iOS for years now, and it's also been ported on Windows, I think, last year. So it's also now available on Windows, and this is a really nice tool that allows you to scan the Wi-Fi environment around you. You can scan using your built-in laptop NIC, but you could also connect external NIC like WLAN-PI. We'll talk about that in a bit, to also do scanning if your laptop NIC doesn't support 6 gigahertz, for instance, which is the case for me. My laptop doesn't do 6 gigahertz. So if I want to scan 6 gigahertz, then I can connect an external, 6 gigahertz compatible device to kind of do the 6 gigahertz scanning. So it's a very nice tool, versatile, and it integrates with other tools as well. So it has a lot of plugins and kind of features that's available in the tool. Um, the basic feature is Wi-Fi scanning, but when you start looking at what the tool can do, you just find like layers of different features that has been added over the years, which makes it very very convenient to use.
Yeah, indeed. Wi-Fi Explorer Pro is my favorite application to use. And one correction, Francois, it's for Mac OS, not iOS.
Oh,
iOS,
macOS.
yeah, doesn't provide the full functionality, but it's kind of my go-to because it's easy to use. Right, it's on my laptop, and I'll be able to just turn it on and start going. Do a quick scan, do a search, have a number of columns available for anything that I'm looking for in
Mhm.
particular, and Adrian Granados has done an excellent job with Wi-Fi Explorer Pro. He himself has is knowledgeable with Wi-Fi and works with the community on improving it. And that's another reason why I highly recommend Wi-Fi Explorer Pro.
If you do have Ekahau, you can use Ekahau to do Wi-Fi scanning with the Sidekick and Sidekick 2, and you can display the results either in the Ekahau AI Pro software on your laptop or on the mobile application, which is called Analyzer. So you can also use this application to do Wi-Fi scanning if you have the tools. If you want more of a handheld type of device, you can use NetAlly or AirCheck G3, I believe. That's the latest version they have. Yeah, Royal has it. And this allows you to kind of have more of a handheld type of device that you can carry around. And you can also do Wi Fi scanning using mobile applications on your phone. So there are numbers of mobile applications that you can use on Android. Like Rowan mentioned, iOS is pretty close. There is one application on iOS called Airport Utility, but it's not really the application you want to use. It's not very made for Wi-Fi scanning. So most of the applications will be available on Android if you want to do it from your phone.
Yeah, and I would say if you have the Ekahau suite of applications and the hardware, that's a pretty good tool to have because if you're already doing an on-site validation survey, you could attach the Sidekick 2 straight to your iPad, for example, and use Ekahau Analyzer. You can do the scan there and also just visualize, or not visualize, but get a sense for whether or not you're meeting certain requirements of your network. And
Mhm.
then if you've got the NetAlly AirCheck G3, which I have here, this is a great handheld tool to do one-click tests. So I've already set up these settings called auto test, and you'll be able to just tap on a button and it'll run the test for you and upload the results to a portal, and you'll be able to see that or collaborate with somebody else if you wanted to.
So that's actually a perfect transition to the second family of products that we wanted to talk about, which are the Wi-Fi survey kits. So what if you want to go on site, measure the signal, and map all of that data on a floor plan? Well, to do this, you would need like a survey kit or an application that allows you to do this. So there are few available on the market. Ekahau Survey with the Psychic 2 is one of them. So with Ekahau, you can do a survey from your laptop if you want to with the Ekahau AI Pro application. Or what most people do is that they would do the survey from a mobile device. You can install the survey app, the Ekahau survey app on a tablet or on a smartphone, and then you can connect your Psychic to your mobile device, and you can walk around, measure the signal, and then study the results, the heat maps, how the Wi-Fi is doing coverage, secondary coverage, and so on after the fact. Second option is Hamina on-site with the Oscium Nomad. So you can use the mobile application from Hamina, which is called on-site, and you can connect the Oscium Nomad hardware device that will do the scanning and report that information back to the application. And then you could also do it with CDOS and the Wave. So it's all of these software kind of works, in a very similar fashion. You have a hardware device that you connect to a mobile device. So with CDOS, it's called the Wave that you connect to the CDOS app, and then you can walk around and then do your survey as well. You can also use the NetAlly AirCheck G3 that Roel mentioned. You can upload the map on it, and then you can do your survey from that device as well.
Yep.
So you have multiple options available on the market today to do a Wi-Fi site surveys.
Yeah, and a lot of these, like Francois said, do exactly the same thing that you want, right? You want to do an on-site survey, these tools can do it. but they all have a slightly different workflow in how it's all done. And there are a couple of different features between each. So some of the hardware piece is where they try to differentiate and how they collect the data and what else they can do, like spectrum analysis. Some can, some cannot do that. But also reporting wise, what can you report out of the results and be able to massage that in such a fashion that works for you or for your client? Or maybe you don't need to create reports. Maybe you yourself just needs to understand whether or not there's coverage and a meeting capacity, that kind of thing. Or if I don't have a certain number of overlap, these tools can do that. And then of course they are of a different cost, right? They all cost differently, some cheaper, some more expensive than others. But what I would encourage you to do is if you're trying to figure out which one you should go with, try checking out some of the demos and videos first, and then narrow it down to two, the final two, and then try to get your hands on one to test. And usually you can do that at a conference and be able to see how each one of these work.
Yeah, this is going to be the most expensive, piece in the toolkit. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so third categories of device that we wanted, or tools that we wanted to talk about, is the Wi-Fi packet capture tools. So this is more of an advanced tool if you start to do troubleshooting and you need to go on site and do some packet capture. It can also be a tool that you use if you're studying Wi-Fi and you want to learn more about how Wi-Fi work and the frame exchanges and all of this. And for this, you're going to need a tool that allows you to do Wi-Fi packet captures. And Wi-Fi packet captures is not something that you can do on any device. We've done episodes on it. You guys can search for them and listen to all of the details. But you need a specific hardware with specific drivers that allows you to do this. So the most convenient way of doing it nowadays is to use like an external device that has these Wi-Fi NICs with the proper drivers, and then connect them back to your main compute device. So we have a couple of options listed. The first one was which one did I have? Yeah, the Ekahau Psychic with this Ekahau Psychic 2 with the application, the Ekahau Analyzer application, which is their mobile application. So you can write from your mobile device, connect your Psychic 2, select the channels that you want to capture Wi-Fi frames on, start the capture, and the application will send the command to the Psychic to start the capture, and then you can stop it and transfer that PCAP file back to your laptop if you want to do the analysis later on. So the Ekahau with the Psychic 2 is pretty convenient. The advantage of the Psychic 2 is that you have 4 Wi-Fi NICs, which allows you to do packet captures on 4 channels at the same time. So if you want to study things like roaming or multi-band behaviors, then you can really do it nicely with the Psychic 2.
Yeah, I would say the biggest advantage is that because of how many channels you can capture on. And part of the reason why we do captures is a lot of it is due to roaming, right? And you want to understand how long that roam took, why it didn't roam, or something else. And a lot of the tools, you sometimes need 2 of them, one capturing on one channel, the other one capturing on another channel. But if you already have, again, the Ekahau suite of tools, you can use the Sidekick 2 to capture on multiple channels.
Mm-hmm. When you use multiple tools and you try to combine these PCAP files, sometimes it's out of sync and it's a nightmare. So it's way easier when it's just captured by one device. You can also use a WLAN Pi. So WLAN Pi is like a little device. That's based on like a Raspberry Pi, and that was built by Wi-Fi engineers. There's a whole bunch of tools available for Wi-Fi engineers, but you can do packet capture from this tool, and then you can feed the data back to your laptop, directly into the application like a Wireshark, or you can save a PCAP and then open it later. So Roald is showing you a couple of examples of the WLAN Pi version that. The one on the right is the older one, the smaller one, and the one on the left is one of the current one that you can actually get if you want to. You can also take packet captures from, the AirCheck G3 that we talked about earlier. You can do packet captures. I forgot how many Wi-Fi NIC they have. It's 2, right?
Yeah, you can only capture on one channel.
Oh, it's 1 channel. Okay. And then you can save it on a USB stick. If I recall, you can put a USB stick on the side, save the PCAP on it, and then you can open it into your
It,
laptop
it,
for analysis.
if it has internet access, it'll upload the PCAP for you to Link Live, and
Okay.
you'll be able to open it from there, or have somebody open it if you're on site and be able to analyze it there. So I find I use the AirCheck G3 a lot for captures, just because if I'm using the handheld tool for analysis already, I can just go ahead and select the channel that I'm going to capture on, and it's useful for things like. I would say the advantage of the AirCheck G3 too is if you're remote, you can ship this to the destination. As long as somebody connects it to internet, you could control it remotely and then be able to do the captures remotely as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. Now that you have the capture files, you need to analyze these capture files. So you're going to need some sort of software to do the analysis. You have a few availables. Wireshark is the one that most people use because it's free and
It's
it's
free.
pretty complete. It's up to date.
It's
I
our only
believe
free
Wireshark.
tool.
Yeah. I believe it's open source. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Wireshark is open source. So as soon as the new Wi-Fi technology is available, then they can add the processing to it. So it's always up to date with the new version of Wi-Fi, which is really nice. So Wireshark, you can use this to read your PCAPs. You can also use another application called ComView for Wi-Fi. So ComView for Wi-Fi is an application that allows you to open PCAP files, and it does a bit more than just opening the frames. It does some analysis, so you can get some statistics from your Wi-Fi frames. And then there's also OmniPeak, which is another packet capture analyzer application, which is more of the enterprise level product. So it does PCAP. You can do the analysis, and then it also gives you some statistics
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this is going to be based on your workflow and what kind of product you need, depending on the features they provide. But I find Wireshark provides everything I need for analyzing PCAPs, and also it's used by a lot of different people. So if you need help, there's probably a blog post about it. There's training on Wireshark. There's always somebody who knows how to use Wireshark very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one thing I think that we should mention at this point is for packet captures, more and more the AP vendors are including that packet capture feature from the access points, which it makes it way easier for us to do the packet captures, because we just have to mention like the MAC address of the client that we're interested in, and then the system will track where the client is connected to which AP on which channel, and it will just capture the right frame for us and give us the PCAP that we need. And more vendors are giving us that functionality. So maybe in the future, we won't have to do as much packet capture on site with our own tool. Maybe we'll be able to rely on the infrastructure to do the packet capturing for us.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because as we get into Wi-Fi 7 and how complex some of these protocols are getting, it will be easier to capture from the infrastructure level, or at least be using an access point to do the captures.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we talked about, if we summarize here, we talked about Wi-Fi scanners, Wi-Fi survey kits, Wi-Fi packet capture tools, protocol analyzers, and to make all this work, you also need, obviously, you need your laptop, right, or some sort of a device, computer device. But you can also use some devices that will connect to your laptop and establish a Ethernet over USB connection. And then you can use those external devices to do some more analysis. So we talked about the WLAN Pi earlier. WLAN Pi is a prime example of that. It's like a little Linux box with a whole bunch of tools, and you can connect it to your laptop over an OTG connection. And then once you have this going, then you can do multiple things. You can use the WNPi as an external sensor for Wi-Fi Explorer and do your Wi-Fi scanning. You can use your WNPi to do the packet captures. You can use WNPi as a dashboard to analyze some Wi-Fi traffic. You can use it to do to analyze your client device behaviors. You can use it as a speed test. You can use it as a way to test if an AP cable has everything it needs for the AP to go online, right? Test VLANs, IP addressing, DNS, all of this stuff. So these devices are quite useful, and they allow you to, especially when you troubleshoot why an AP is not connecting, you can disconnect that Ethernet cable that's connected to the AP, you connect it to these devices, and it gives you information about what type of network connectivity you have or don't have. So the WNPi can do this. The NetAlly Etherscope will do that as well, even in greater details. I think it gives you like the PoE as well.
Yep.
So you will know if you have enough PoE or not.
This is a big handheld tool.
Yeah, this one does more. You can do fiber stuff and a whole bunch of things, right?
Yeah, you can do fiber. There's Ethernet testing ports. So this one I carry more than the AirCheck G3 if I want to test wired connectivity. And that's because the AirCheck G3, you'll need a USB dongle. There are no Ethernet ports on this device.
Okay. Yeah, so that's an option that you have to kind of test these, test your wired cables. I know we're talking about wireless here, but sometimes you have to check that wired connection. So you can use this test. If you just want to test the cable piece, you can also get very cheap cable testers on Amazon that will just verify, if the pair has been connected properly. So you can check that the connector has been put on properly, and you can validate simple things like this with a much cheaper device.
Yeah, and sometimes it does get to that point, and I find that the Etherscope NXG does an excellent job with testing cables, and you'll be able to see where there is an issue with the pairs, or if you're trying to find a cable, right? Maybe your AP isn't getting any PoE. You could actually attach another device or a little Ethernet connector on one end and try to find it with the Etherscope, and it'll be able to map it. So it's like a wire mapper.
That's really nice. Okay, and then apart from all of these fancy tools, you also need the essentials. So these are very important, right? Because if you forget them, then you might be in a bad place. So cables are very important. As a network guy, you should always have an Ethernet cable in your bag, I think. If you interview someone for a network engineering job, check to see if they have Ethernet cable. I'm joking, but yeah, we should have Ethernet cables. Then all of your charging cables. So your laptop, your external devices, WLAN, Pi, sidekicks, whatever, Etherscopes. So make sure you have all of these cables. Also, you might need to connect different devices together to your laptop. So you may need, USB, USB-C, micro USB.
So all the different kinds of connectors.
Make sure you have these cables. You may need dongles and adapters as well. Yeah,
Ethernet
things
adapter.
Like this.
Never forget that one, since the laptops don't come with Ethernet anymore. At least the MacBooks.
Yeah. Ethernet adapters, that this is important to keep in mind. And you can, I've actually gifted myself this year like a really nice cable pouch from a Peak Design, and I keep all my cable in there. It's really nice.
Yeah, same here. I love that little. It's a little electronic organizer. I think I have it. You can keep talking. I'll get it.
Okay, that's a really nice one. And then apart from that, when you go on site, you may also actually need additional. Yeah, that's the exact same one I have. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, and you can organize everything. You have pockets. You can put your dongle and stuff. And then you also have additional items that you may want to bring with you for specific scenarios. Down there we have a flashlight. I know a lot of people have been talking about the flashlight in our Slack group. I saw the messages and they were sharing different things that they were using. Sometimes you're going to go into environments where the light is not perfect, or you need a little bit more light to inspect a ceiling or a network cabinet or something. And the flashlight we have on our phones are okay, but sometimes they don't do the job good enough. You might also need a battery pack. Nowadays, we can charge laptops, we can charge phones, tablets with battery packs, which is very convenient. So bringing a battery pack is really nice. Well, yeah, you have that Anchor. I have this one that I've been using for years. I like it because it's very flat. So I can
Yeah.
put that in my cable pouch as well. And this will charge my phone like 4 times. So it's and you can get pretty good ones for not too much money nowadays,
Hmm.
which is very
Yeah.
nice.
And I've actually
Um,
opted to carry a bigger Anchor battery pack rather than carrying all my little power adapters. So, for example, if you've got
mm,
the Ekahau Sidekick 2, um, the like luckily everything is going towards USB-C, meaning you can carry one adapter, which is usually the one I use with my laptop, but that's an Anchor as well. And if I've got USB-C, I carry a bigger battery pack. And then if I need to charge my Sidekick 2, I'll connect it there. Or if I need to charge my NetAlly AirCheck or Etherscope, I'll connect it to the battery pack as well. And it actually charges much faster with that battery pack. And then when I'm not
mhm.
using it, I'll just use a power adapter to charge the battery pack as well. That way you're not taking up, if you're charging your laptop, you can't charge anything else with that power adapter. So that way you can charge something else as well with the
Yeah,
battery pack.
and that's convenient if you're traveling, because at night you can just connect everything while you're sleeping and everything charges. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really really good. Also, you may need like a laser device to measure distances when you go on
Yep.
site if you want to validate a
No,
scale of
you're
a floor
going to
plan.
need it. You may it's not you may not need it. You will need it because you'll find that you'll open the project and it's going to say, "Hey, you need to measure. Set the scale," and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
how am I going to measure that by feet?" And you're going to use your feet to step along the wall. No, use a laser distance tool.
And with the laser distance tool, you can also measure ceiling heights, which is really nice. Um, yeah, and then also you have the fiber light. Oh yeah, that's was the other thing. It has a
Yep.
fiber light. I don't have this in my kit because I don't do fiber often,
Yeah.
but you
There's
can
there's
test
been
the
some
fiber.
instances where switches aren't online. The APs are online. I'm troubleshooting, and it turns out to be a wired issue because something's wrong with the uplink, and they can't find where the fiber is or where it's terminating. So I'll connect the fiber to this end, and it's got an adapter depending on the type of fiber connector you're using. And then once you connect that, and I'll close this off because it's an actual laser, you could turn it on. You see the red there for the
Hmm.
laser. So I could also blink it so you can see where it's coming from. And it actually shows on the other end because it's just so bright. You don't want to look into it, but it
Yeah, yeah.
does help in some scenarios where somebody doesn't know fiber or can't trace the fiber.
Hmm. Awesome. And then to finish, we'll talk about the water bottle. Right, that's probably the most important one. Stay hydrated if you don't want to get headaches while you're trying to analyze the speak up files that you just captured on site. Water bottle is always nice to have.
Yes, always
Um,
fill it up. Always keep it on you. I always carry a plastic water bottle with me when I travel, and that's the one I always use. I don't know if you do the same, Francois. That way, I'm not looking for a bottle to store water in. There might be water there, but maybe you'll have to go find a cup or something. And then,
good
like
thing
Francois said, you need to be hydrated.
that's a good thing you said water, because when you said fill it up, you didn't mention like how you were filling it up.
Fill it up with whatever liquid you want to fill it up with.
All right. So I think we have a pretty good list. You can go on the website. You'll see different links that you can use. Let us know. Let us know what do you
What
bring
are
in
we
your bag.
missing? Yeah.
Yeah, are we missing anything? Let us know. It would be nice to kind of exchange on the different tools that we use.
Yeah.
There are like a couple of more corner, tools that corner case tools that I use as well that we didn't put in the list. That was just like I guess the essential here. But yeah, that would be nice to know what you guys bring on site. Head over to the Clear to Stand website, cleartostand.net. Let us know in the comments. You can also let us know on the Slack group or on LinkedIn if you follow us on LinkedIn as well. Um, and yeah, so that was it for this series of episodes on Wi-Fi hardware. Hopefully you guys liked it. We'll come back for a new series soon. And I guess we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for
All
listening.
right. Bye, guys.
Cheers.
See ya.